I'm going to explain to you what I do and how it's different. Most deep plane surgeons go below the skin to the deeper layer. Once they're there, they elevate that deeper layer by dissecting underneath it within the deep plane. Most of them then put things back where they think it belongs. Now, this is a problem because you're relying on their kind of aesthetic vision for where the face should be. I do something a little bit differently. When I'm inside, I'm actually dissecting and I can see the ligaments. As you age, imagine a ligament connecting the two fingertips. As you age, this drops. Inside, I mark here and here, I separate the ligament, and then I reattach it to where it belongs. I'm literally following the roadmap on the inside, putting things back where they were. This is key because if you follow the roadmap on the inside, it's almost impossible to make you look weird or tight or pulled. As I'm putting things back where they were, I'm following the form. The form and the function of the face are connected. If you change the form, you could alter the function. If you over tighten this, then when you smile, there could be a smile block or a blockage here that prevents the smile from looking natural. And I've seen dozens of patients that have had surgery elsewhere that come to me that look like a perfect before and after on a website. When they move or they smile, there's something weird going on. That's because of over tightening or a SMAS plication or SMAS lift where they've over tightened that layer on top of the cheek. Once I've done that deep lift and put things back where they belong, there's extra skin. I just remove the excess and close. I don't actually pull the skin at all. There's no tension in the skin, and this is critical because tension is what creates a thick upraised or wide scar, and tension is what creates a windswept look in the skin. If we avoid that tension, we get a almost seamless approach where you might see a fine line afterwards but no thick upraised or wide scar. And you've seen that in dozens of my photos that I've shown online. Tension is the real killer. That's the real cause of scars after surgery. Of course, we've all created scars. Some of it's genetic. I can't promise you a scar-free surgery, but I would say that offloading tension is the single best way to hide or prevent visible scars after surgery. This is another important concept. We've all seen facelifts where the skin looks waxy or plastic afterwards. Why? Because typically when surgeons are doing surgery, they elevate the skin from the deeper layer and then they put it back down. That separates the skin from its blood supply, from the delivery of oxygen, nutrients, and other important factors that leads to an fibrotic or a hardening of the skin. When there's fibrosis within the skin, it makes it look hard, waxy, or plastic. So if we don't separate the skin from the deeper layer, we preserve that connection, then we don't have that secondary reaction. I call this, and other surgeons call it, a preservation style deep plane facelift because we're preserving those deeper layers. That tends to lead to better looking skin, also less bruising and swelling, and ultimately a more natural looking result. Also, in the neck, I think this is very important. I have a very different approach. I don't think you can have a great face and neck lift unless you have a fantastic neck and jawline afterwards. How do we get the best looking jawline for patients? And think about it, it makes sense. If it drops 5% here and 5% here, it's 10% here. If this looks great after surgery, the neck, then that means the midface and the cheek were put back where they belong. So I do something called crevasse technique. Crevasse technique is a fancy name, but it'll make sense in a second. Basically, I make an incision under the chin. I go below the skin to the deep muscle and I go under the deep muscle. I'm in the deep layer of the neck. I'm going to treat deep causes of heaviness, the glands, the anterior digastric muscle, the fat compartment. I may move the muscles and re-elevate the glands. This allows me to really sculpt out the deep neck and give the best definition possible and to treat the etiology or cause of heaviness before it recurs. Once that's done, I take the muscle, it's spread apart, it's called the platysma. I reattach it and tighten it a bit to give more support under the chin. Laterally, I take that same muscle, it's shaped like a sheet. I take this portion by the ear and I lift it up and put it onto the mastoid bone. That creates a depth along the jawline because we're lifting it up but also putting it in. That creates a crevice. This is why we call it crevasse technique. Once that crevice is formed, you have the most definition in the jawline possible. Lastly, I always use some fat at the same time from your body. I'm going to process it into two types of injectable fat. One is called structural fat. That's living fat cells with stem cells and growth factors that we can use to add back volume. Even after a lift, there's an area where a little volume could go a long way to improving the result. We're going to inject into the nasolabial fold, the prejowl sulcus, the canine sulcus, the chin, the cheek, the temple, the brow, the upper ear, and the earlobe. They become deflated as we age, and sometimes the submandibular sulcus. This allows me to use fat from your own body to add back volume where it was lost. I don't want a bigger face after surgery. I want your face to be smaller and more delicate and defined, but adding fat will help me to augment areas where you've lost volume. Then I'm going to process some fat into something we call nanofat, which is actually a misnomer because there's no living fat in it. It's just stem cells and growth factors. That is a regenerative treatment. It increases the blood supply to the skin. It improves the lamina propria of the lip, making it more pink, more blood supply. Vertical lines less visible, more moist because it improves and heals moisture producing content of the lip. Also injecting the tear trough region. That improves the quality of the skin there. And we microneedle it in from top to bottom, basically improving the blood supply to the skin. I think that this is an important concept. We're not just lifting, not just adding volume, we're also improving skin quality. We're also going to use a compounded medication that we prescribe to you. That contains tretinoin, which is basically vitamin A, with a hyaluronic acid to balance the drying effect, niacinamide to improve the barrier function, vitamins D and E, which improve the skin cell membrane as it goes through turnover, resveratrol and turmeric, an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, all this in a ceramide base. It comes from a pharmacy. It's inexpensive. It's like under $100 for 3 months worth. It's not a cosmetic product. It's something that we prescribe. That medication will further improve the quality of the skin. And we're going to do a CO2 laser and microneedling at the time of, and maybe 6 weeks to 3 months post-op to further improve the quality of the result, because we also want to improve skin quality. This is so important. It's not just about structurally moving things. It's about adding volume, and it's about improving the quality of the skin. If you only do one of those things, it will look weird. If you do all three well, it will look perfect, because we'll anti-age the skin at the same rate that we anti-age the structures below. This is how you get a consistent, young-looking result that doesn't look off or weird or tight or pulled or inconsistent. Those are the concepts of what I do and how it's different in terms of the anatomy. I hope that that better explains to you what we're going to be doing. In the in-person consult, I'm going to look at you in the mirror and show you some things. And I'm also going to show you again before and afters of several patients, which you may have already seen on social media, but there's some that we can share in the office that we can't share online. Lastly, we're going to talk about downtime and expectations for healing. I've already put that together in a separate video in the pre-op, which you can watch next if you want to learn more about the preoperative process, what to expect, and what downtime will look like. But I'm really looking forward to our visit in the office. We're going to go over more of this in more detail. Hopefully this has prepared you for consultation with me and my practice. I'm looking forward to your surgery. This is going to be fantastic.